24 past 7 o'clock, 101.7 FM and 710 Keel. Robert J. Wright and Aaron McCarty from Washington, D.C. Thanks to Congressman Mike Johnson for taking a couple of minutes. Hey, Mike, how are you today?
Well, I've been better.
Yeah. Well, okay. So a shooting in Virginia. I don't know what specific township in Virginia, but it involved a number of congresspeople, including House Majority Whip Steve Scalise from Louisiana. What do you know about that, and where are you, and what's going on?
Well, I'm in my office building, the Cannon office building, which is right across from the Capitol, and as is my custom, I was up about 5:30 this morning. I was doing some office work. I did not go to the Congressional Republican team's baseball practice this morning, which was in Alexandria, Virginia. They've been about 10 or 15, 12 or 15 or so members of the House and Senate have been meeting almost every morning, about 6, to practice because there's a big charity baseball game here in Washington tomorrow night. And Steve's really into all this. You guys know Steve. He's just a magnanimous personality, a dear friend and brother to me. And he's our majority whip. He's in leadership. And in spite of all his responsibilities, he really pours his heart and soul into the baseball game every year for charity and all that. So he was there playing second at second base. And from the eyewitness accounts of colleagues who were there when this happened, which was a little over an hour ago, apparently some assailant with a rifle walked into or out onto or at least on the perimeter of the practice field and just started opening fire on members of Congress. And Steve was hit in the hip, and a couple of his security detail aides were hit as well. One of the guys who was shot, one of the aides, one of his bodyguards, after he was shot, the report is that he's the one that took out the assailant, and he's apparently either been taken down or he's on the way to the hospital as well.
Now, because of his stature in Congress, what kind of security detail was there on the scene, if any? Well,
Steve is not allowed to go anywhere without a security detail because he's the third-ranked member of the House and leadership, and so he typically, I mean, I travel with him a lot. He typically has 4 or 5 guys with him at all times, and they're some of the best. I mean, just dedicated public servants. These guys are well trained. They've all got the little earpieces, and they carry weapons, obviously. And they would have been there this morning with Steve because he doesn't go anywhere without them. You know, the thing that's concerning about this is that the practice field in Alexandria is, just an open kind of public baseball field. And there likely was not any additional security other than the whip's regular, detail. So I'm sure some of these practices will change now. We live in a very dangerous world, and the vitriol in this country and what it's, leading to now is just really, really sad and shocking. Look, we need to pray for Steve and his family, his wife, Jennifer, and their children. I'm sure they're greatly alarmed this morning, but the word is, what I have right now is that he's going to recover fine. Thankfully, he was just hit in the hip.
What are they doing with you guys, the rest of Congress? Are y'all on any kind of alert, lockdown, anything like that?
Not at the moment. We're all sort of, more information is pending. They're still trying to gather this info. It just happened a little over an hour ago. And because it was off campus in Alexandria, Capitol Police are scrambling to try to get a hold of all this. As of this moment, at least that I've seen, none of our buildings are locked down. We obviously have a busy day on the Hill scheduled today. I mean, I'm looking at my schedule. It was prepared yesterday. I mean, 10-minute increments all the way, supposedly beginning at 8 through late tonight. I'm wondering how much of that's going to be scrambled and changed today. We had lots of committee hearings and, of course, votes on the floor and all of that. I don't know if that'll be suspended or what'll happen now.
Mike, once again, how many Republican congressmen and what was it, House of Representatives members only were on the scene, and how many more pop into your head?
Yeah, well, this is an annual charity baseball game, Democrats versus Republicans. It's been going on for many, many years, and it's a cherished tradition. The game was scheduled for tomorrow night, and 10 or 15,000 people will come out and watch it. I think the number was they had raised so far about $600,000 for charity, Boys and Girls Clubs and other notable charities through the game this year. And so there's been lots of anticipation about it and excitement on the Hill. And the teams are made up on the Democrat and Republican side of members of the House and Senate. who are able to dedicate the time. The practices are at 6 a.m. because all of us have such crazy schedules. And so what I'm hearing, who was there this morning, I know Congressman Ron DeSantis was there, Mo Brooks, he's from Florida, Mo Brooks was there. I think Jeff Duncan was there. Several names that people may recognize.
Would I be correct in assuming that most of the members on both sides are your age, the younger members of the legislature?
Well, you'd be surprised. I mean, some of them are in their 60s, late 60s that are still playing. I mean, it's for charity, it's competitive, but it's not. These aren't the majors. But people who just love the game and love love the fun of it and for the good cause. And some of them have been playing for many years. So they would be out there practicing. It was just Republicans, and it was interesting. I just heard third hand. I haven't talked to him myself yet, but Ron DeSantis was telling someone this morning that he was there just a bit ago, that he left about 5 minutes before the shooting began, and he thought it was odd. He mentioned to somebody here that when he was leaving, a gentleman or somebody walked up and said, "Hey, is that the Republicans or the Democrats out there?"
Oh, wow.
And he said he just kind of felt it was a little odd, but he said, "Well, that's the Republican team," and then he left and didn't think much more about it. And now, of course, we suspect that might have been, somebody who was.
What do we know about the gunman? Is it a lone gunman type guy? Could it be a terror attack? I mean, what are you guys hearing?
Certainly terrorism is always suspected. We don't know any of those details yet, and I shouldn't engage in conjecture about it. But I do think, so far as we know right now, it was just one. It was a lone gunman. Now, whether he acted alone or not sure. But that guy was apparently taken down, and he's either deceased now or ironically being taken to the same hospital that where Steve Scalise is now.
Our prayers for Steve and his family, and Mike, you guys too. I know it's going to be a tough day.
Tough day, tough week, but God's still in control, and that's where we take our comfort.
Congressman Mike Johnson, thank you for joining us on such short notice.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
1017 FM, 710 Keel. Traffic update just ahead of local news. Here's Ruben.